Survivor Specialist Phil and Will are back. Episode 10 predictions are now. It's our special 2-hour episode, not for us. All of our episodes come close to 2 hours, but this is the special Survivor 2-boot 2 episode. Not really just one double boot episode, which is fun. We'll get a nice, solid back-to-back episodes here and good reasonings for both boots instead of them trying to rush it into one episode. So this should be fun. What do you think?
Yeah, I like how this is the new Thanksgiving. This is the new Thanksgiving tradition. Like, we're getting 2 hours the Wednesday before Thanksgiving from here on out until Survivor ends its run, I think, because I think it was a big hit last year, and they figured out people don't enjoy watching recaps where no one gets voted out, and it's just an empty episode. They had to do that, when the series was super popular, but now because it's only super fans and you can watch it, the next day or even download it online or watch it on CBS hours after it airs. Like, they can really show these episodes whenever. So I'm stoked that this is now like a thing.
Yeah, and I think that this, like you said, I think this is here to stay until the end. And now in the binge watching age, like, they know people aren't just sitting down to watch it live most of the time anyway. So they really don't, like, they're not really losing much. Yeah, the ratings will be down a little bit, but they're going to be the highest rated show on Wednesday night. And then people are just going to watch it the next day. If you take a week off here, nowadays people forget about it. It used to be like, oh, we couldn't watch it live. Hopefully we taped it. Now it's like, we couldn't watch it live. We'll watch it after Thanksgiving dinner when we all wake up from our little comas.
Exactly. So I'm glad they figured it out too, because a lot of TV networks, they really haven't fully embraced binge watching culture and things like this. I mean, honestly, it'd be really cool at some point to watch a whole season of Survivor in a row. That'd be terrible for us because we wouldn't really be able to podcast in between. So actually, hopefully that doesn't happen. But anyway, let's get into the power rankings here. It's really tough because it's 2 episodes. So we're making one rankings for the 2 episodes. And I don't know if you had just immense difficulty putting this together. I certainly did. Like, anyone with an idol can use their idol in episode 1, and then they're completely vulnerable in episode 2. So it's so tough. I'm interested to see how your ranking shook out.
Yeah, this was tough because I don't think it's going to be Jay and Will both. And that's what's making it so tough is, like, I don't think they're going to go back-to-back here. So even if, like, episode 1 Will goes, I don't think Jay necessarily goes in episode 2. This preview was very fun, very intense preview. They didn't really give us much, even the press photos. Like, there's no spoilers in there. We just know, like, here's 3 challenges. I'll start it off. At number 1, I got David. He's got the idol, and I think he's least likely to be targeted in the first hour of this week. I think Jay and Adam could both find themselves targeted. I think Will could find himself targeted. I think Jessica could find herself targeted. Even Sunday could somehow find herself targeted. David's got the idol. He's not going to be targeted in episode 1, which means going into episode 2, he'll still have the idol. If something shakes down at that first tribal, I think David knows, and he's safe going into the second episode. So David's my number 1. That's really the only thing I'm happy about.
Yeah, I actually have a different number 1 than you, and this might sound surprising, but I have Hannah at number 1. I think she is in such a good spot right now. She can work with the Gen Xers. She's voted with them twice now, or that big majority alliance. It's not all Gen Xers, obviously. And if she wants to maybe, dabble with getting something together with Sunday and Jay, or maybe Will if he's still around, like, Hannah has options, and then she's not a threat. Like, there are so many other threats. Even if you want to say, like, who's the biggest strategic threat in this game right now, people are looking at Adam. People are looking at Zeke. They're even looking at Jay as a strategic threat. And then as physicality goes, like, she's not a physical threat at all. So I love her spot. I don't see her going in either of these episodes. I don't even think she'll be targeted. I don't think Hannah has even gotten a vote yet this entire game. If Hannah really has a nice couple of episodes here, she might be the winner, honestly. I think there are very few people at this point who have a chance to win, and I think she's one of them.
Yeah, I have Hannah at number 2, and I'm using her as my eliminator pick for this week. She's in a great spot. I mean, like, you just pretty much summed every single thing up about Hannah, and, like, I think a lot of people wrote her off early just because she was on the wrong side of the first vote, and then she kind of disappeared for a little bit. And then Adika Bula, though, they showed her as being kind of, like, observant and calling out Brett and realizing Brett's lying. And then she gets here, and she finally is a part of, like, a real move at the merge. I think Hannah is kind of being set up to kind of go deep in this game, and I like her positioning right now. I don't think she's going to be targeted, even if there's, like, a stray vote off because of idols being played and there's, like, a random person who goes. I fear a lot more for one of these big guys or even a Jess or a Sunday than I do for Hannah.
Exactly. You couldn't have said it any better. I'm really feeling like someone's going to get idled out with like 2 or 3 votes, and Hannah doesn't seem a likely candidate for that. So, yeah, I think we have the same 1 and 2. I have David at 2, so we just have those flip-flopped. What more can I say about David? He's one of the few people that I think can win this game also. And he's got the idol. Doesn't seem to have any enemies right now. He's in the majority. He's not really a physical threat. People might start to catch on that David's really playing this game hard, and he's playing well, especially he is the only one to play an idol at all, and he played it successfully. So that could come into play down the line, but for these 2 episodes, I think he's safe.
Yeah, I think he's good. I would be really surprised if David or Hannah went home. After that, I wouldn't be really surprised if anybody got a stray bullet here.
Yeah, from 3 to 11, any of these people could go home, and I would not be surprised.
Well, who do you have at 3?
You're asking me?
Yeah, because I went first on the other 2, so just go 3, and then I'll go 3, 4.
All right. At 3, I have Zeke, and this is another person kind of like Hannah who has options. We see that Will comes to him with the information about Jay's idol. He's the only one besides David that knows about David's idol. He's kind of in the middle right now if that alliance is going to start crumbling. And it looks more like the Gen Xers are turning on each other more than this 9 turning into like Millennials versus Gen X within the 9. It seems like the Gen Xers are just turning on each other. So people like Zeke and Hannah, I feel confident, are going to be able to have options. And when you have options, you can side with the majority. You decide who goes home. You can decide, who you trust and keep them in the game. So I really like Zeke's position. He is a total threat, and I think people are starting to realize that. And again, would not shock me if Zeke goes home, but he's definitely my number 3, and he's above everybody else on this list.
I have Zeke at 4. I actually have Brett at 3, and I don't know why I put him at 3. I'm not like super confident in him, but I feel like Chris is a bigger threat.
Wow. I'm really surprised by that.
I mean, I'm way behind you anyway, so let me see if I can catch up to you a little bit too in case Brett doesn't go home. Maybe I can have somebody near the bottom that you don't. Anyway, Brett, the reason I have Brett here is because he's got Sunday, he's got Chris. He seems like he could work with Jay and Will. And then even maybe Hannah. And I feel like because he can work with all of those people, I feel like people would go for Chris before they would go for Brett. And I think because of that, I think Brett's in an okay spot because I don't think 2 Gen Xers are going to go. I think it's going to be 1 Millennial, 1 Gen X that go this week. I don't think it'll be back-to-back Gen Xers. It could be, but I just don't feel like it will be. So I feel like if somebody's going to catch a stray bullet, it's going to be Chris, not Brett.
Yeah, he's just someone that he screams like getting idled out of the game at 10th or 9th place. Like it just makes sense for what we've seen from Brett so far. He's pretty likable, gotten a kind of mixed bag from him. He's never too present, but he's a fun character. He's obviously not a threat to win. It seems like this would be a perfect time for Brett to go, and even if it's in like the first episode, I can really see that. And then the second episode, who knows where the cards are going to be once that episode starts. But I mean, if you're really trying to get back in it, it's not about putting people that I have low at the top. It's about putting people, that I have at the top on the bottom. So I'm interested to see like who your bottom is. If that's your plan to try to catch up to me in the rankings. How many points am I above on you?
7.
7. Okay. So you got a lot. It's harder to make up points when there's, so few people left. So I'm interested to see who you're going to put really low that I have high. Maybe it's Zeke. That might be an option for you.
No, I already said I have Zeke at 4. It's not Zeke.
Oh, you have Zeke at 4. Yeah. I don't think Zeke's going, but if you really wanted to make up points, you could do that. At number 4, I have Adam. Look, people might not trust him, but he's the only one that knows about his idol, and he could totally get sniped. Like I said, anyone after Zeke or anyone including Zeke, good chance of going. But I trust Adam to know when to play his idol. We've seen 2 tribal councils in a row that maybe he should have played it, and he's made the decision both times. You got to think he wasn't on eggshells, just guessing. I think he can gather information, read people, understand what's going on, and hopefully he can turn around his actual strategic game and not scare away so many people. Maybe he can dial it down. There are so many threats still left in this game, and I know Adam is one of them, but he definitely has the skills to navigate his way through these 2 episodes. So I got him at 4. Again, wouldn't be shocked if he goes.
I have Adam so much lower, so there you go. That's one of mine.
There you go.
Because I'll get to Adam when we get to Adam. Who you got at 5?
At 5, I have Ken. Just other, like, we have not seen anything of Ken. It's 3 episodes in a row without a confessional when he was a favorite going into the merge. Like, he was the favorite going into the merge, not a favorite. He's the favorite to win, or at least on the internet, that was the consensus that, like, he's the likely winner of this game. We haven't heard anything from him. If he's going to go, he probably won't go in the first episode just because we would have heard from him. I mean, he won immunity last week. We didn't even hear from him. He could get, like, more screen time in episode 1 of this week and then go out in the second episode. But still, I think he's going to make a deep run. I think it's like, okay, we can put Ken on the back burner for a little bit, let the Gen Xers kind of pick at each other. Maybe Brett goes, Chris goes, or Sunday goes. And Ken was such a big character early on. I think he's going to make, he's going to have some influence at the end game. Whether he wins or not, I don't think he wins, but he's going to have some influence down there.
Yeah, I got Ken at 5 because he's one of those people. He's not loud and he's not like the greatest TV of all time. He's not like he's Zeke or he's not like he's Taylor, like where he's just like sewing your face with it. So to give him as much as they gave him early on, for him to completely disappear and be a non-factor would really blow my mind because like it's not like he's like a must-see TV character. So I feel like there has to be something more to his story going on here, and maybe that's why he's just been overshadowed by these huge characters once the merge hit. And people have down episodes. I mean, sometimes you just don't get anything to work with. And I know like that normally they try to give winners anything they can. But
yeah, that's the only problem though. It's like you could say he hasn't had anything to work with, but it's just not true. They merge. If you merge, you have something to work with. You have some commentary on the current state of the game and who you want to work with and what you think of the new people you haven't met yet. Like there's so much material there. If he won, they would have given him something, at least you would think. And then he won immunity last week. When do we not hear from the person who wins the immunity challenge? Like that almost never happens. That's such a rarity. And so when you pair it with,
more often than you think.
Really?
Yeah, it does.
Anyway, well, when you pair that together, and then he also didn't get a confessional the episode before, and it's kind of crazy.
No, it is, and I'm not necessarily saying he's going to win. I just feel like there's got to be so much more to his storyline because they gave him so much for what seems like no reason at this point.
Right, so we're in agreement with Ken at 5. So
yeah, and then at 6 I have Sunday. I'm nervous for Sunday. Don't get me wrong, but I'm nervous for everybody right now. The thing is, I think Sunday's another one who's not going to take a straight bullet. That's why I have her here. I originally had Chris here, but then I was like, well, Chris could take the straight bullet. I don't think Sunday takes one. I know they had her talking strategy last week and all that, but like, if you're going to target somebody, if you're Jay or Will and you know the numbers or the votes are coming at you and you have an idol and you can change it, why are you going to go for Sunday? Go for Chris or Brett.
Sunday doesn't have an idol. That's why they would say maybe David has an idol, maybe Chris has an idol, maybe Brett has. It's something about the mom character type where it's like she's going to sit around at camp and she's going to be nice, but she's not playing that hard. She's not out looking for idols. And that's someone like, all right, we need to put the vote somewhere. It's like, or changing plans last minute. All right, let's just do Sunday. We know that's a sure thing. We'll take out a number. We can get to Chris and Brett later. Just to make sure you have the numbers. I could totally see Sunday going. I really could, especially because she got more airtime last week out of nowhere. And it wasn't like about her character or anything. It was more like, I'm going to start turning on my own. It was a little bit, not that it was negative, but it was a little bit vicious, I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to take out Jess. We both agreed that, hey, Sunday taking out Jess is probably a good move for her. So I don't want to paint it that way, but they definitely were like, okay, Sunday's now playing hard. Let's see what happens. Like, there's going to be consequences to how you play the game. So I'm definitely worried for Sunday this week.
I mean, I'm worried for – it's 2 episodes. I don't know who's going to go.
It's very true.
Who do you have at 6?
At 6, I have Jay. I don't think Jay is going this week. I actually could put him higher. I almost put him at number 1 just to rub it in everybody's face. I don't think he's going this week, and maybe I'll get it rubbed back in my face if he does go. But he's so far on the bottom. Again, when he knows he's on the bottom, he's got room to play. He's got Sunday feeding him information from the majority alliance, or at least that's what we think. That's why I didn't play his idol, even though it was like a 50-50 toss-up. And if anything, it was probably it was less than a 50-50 toss-up, or more than I don't know how to phrase this, but he was probably more likely to go if you really gonna look at what this majority should have done. It's get out Jay, who's a threat to win this game, than to, get out Taylor, who's just on vacation. So for Jay not to play that idol, it really makes me believe that he knew he wasn't going home. He smartly wrote down Taylor's name. This guy's playing so hard. I already defended him, in various podcasts. We have some more comments about his move with Michaela that I'm sure we'll get to. But he's sticking around. I think he's at least making it to the finale, if not winning.
Who do you have at 7 then?
At 7, I have Brett. So not way lower than you. What, you have Brett at 2, right? 3. So not that much lower. Brett is just, like I said, he screams straight bullet idol. Just right in the middle of the merge. Like, this is just seems too easy.
Yeah, I have Chris at 7, and I think like kind of like the same reason you have Brett there. Like, I feel like Chris is the one who they target if they have a chance and they can't get the numbers. And I think Jay looks at Brett as somebody he could work with, and Sunday as somebody he could work with. I don't think he ever looks at Chris as somebody he could work with. So if Jay can somehow pull it off, I think he targets Chris to get rid of him, because that's kind of what's connecting Brett and Sunday back to the other Millennials is Chris. So I think getting rid of Chris is probably in Jay's best interest.
Absolutely. And I have Chris at 8, just one spot below. I just figured, I don't know, Chris seems to be – I don't know. I don't feel good about Chris. I don't feel good about Chris at all. I agree with you. I have him lower on the rankings. So, I don't know. I feel like we've had Brett and Chris back-to-back every time we do these. Yeah.
Well, my number 8 is Jay, and I think like most people are going to be kind of surprised that we both had them where we have them. Like the fact that we both don't have Jay at like 10 or 11, but I really am like not in fear for Jay, because he's got the idol for episode 1. And if they get rid of Will, let's say episode 1, like I think will probably happen. If they get rid of Will episode 1 and Jay has to play his idol, going into the next episode, Jay, there's no reason to boot him. It's not, there's 9 people or 10 people left. 9 of them are working together. It's like, take Jay, try to use Jay. So I think Jay's actually in a really good spot. And I also think that if Will can survive this first vote, he could be in a really good spot. I think the 2 of them just need to get through this first vote and get it to the point where it's like, come on, guys, it's 8-2. I mean, right now it's 9-2, but you might still want to say, let's get rid of Will. Like, Jay might have an idol. Like, let's flush idols. But after that first episode, man, it's 9-1. Why get rid of him right now when you can use him as a number?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think Will or Jay goes in episode 1. I really don't. I think it's going to be a Gen Xer. I think it's going to be maybe Sunday, Jessica, Chris, or Brett. I think it's going to be one of those 4 going in the first episode, because everything's going to shake up. We have all these rumors of idols. It seems like everyone's starting to play really hard. And I know the previews try to get you as excited as possible. I am super stoked for this episode. It seems like it's really going to turn up after kind of down episode last week. And then after that, I really don't know, but I could probably put Jay higher. I should probably put Jay higher. I really don't think he's going. And with that, he can also win immunity. So he's got the idol. He can win immunity pretty easily. He's a pretty talented challenge player. So, yeah, I think 8, I mean, that's fine. You got him at 8. I have him a little bit higher. At 9, I have Jessica.
So do I.
She's Sunday's, target number 1. And it was made very clear last episode that she is a target. I still think we haven't heard much from her of late, and it would be a little surprising to see her go in the first episode. I could definitely see her going in the second episode. I wonder if the editors know that they're going to be putting 2 together when they edit these things. They probably don't. Maybe they do. I don't know. What do you think?
They do. I mean, this has been planned for a while. Get out of here.
It has been. It has been planned for a while up the schedule. So they probably know that, Jessica, if she does go, they would include the Sunday thing last week, even if it is not the first episode, it's the second episode. The editors know what the audience is seeing week to week. I'll just kill my rankings here. It's pretty obvious. I got Sunday at 10 and then Will at 11. I do think Will goes this week, whether it's the first or second. It just kind of seems like his time, and with him going around and telling, Jay's secret, I think Jay is going to feel very betrayed by that, and then Will's completely on his own, and then who knows what he does. Maybe he plays out of it and plays really hard, plays really well. He might play himself out of the game. So,
yeah, I have Jessica 9. I have Adam at 10 and Will at 11, and I agree with you with Will. The thing with Adam, I could see him – think about this. If this happens in episode 1, Will wins immunity. All the votes are going to Jay. Jay plays his idol. Who's going home? I think Adam goes. Like, I really do. I think that they try to vote Adam, and he might play his idol, but if he plays his idol, then they're going to be gunning for him the second episode. They're looking at Adam right now as a serious threat to win this game. Maybe not even as a threat to win this game, but as a threat to mess up other people's games. And I really worry for him that, like, he might finally get votes and not play his idol and not be expecting it because they've made him comfortable enough at this point. We've seen it now for 2 straight weeks of, hey, Adam, you're in trouble. Like, you're playing too hard, you're doing this, you're doing that. And I think that this could be his time. It's 2 episodes. I'm not confident enough with what they've shown us recently that he's safe.
That's fair. I mean, honestly, 4 now sounds very high for him. But again, like, you got to think he's going to play. I think he's going to play the idol correctly. Like, I just think he's a super fan. He loves this game, and I think he's doing everything he can to get the right information. And he hasn't been wrong yet. You know, he could have easily played his idol. Not last week, but the episode before. I mean, that really could have been him going. And then, you know, I guess the main thing you point out is that Jay and Will, like, they want to get out Adam almost like for revenge and because he has this advantage and he's a threat. And if it is up to them and they do play an idol, then yeah, I think Adam will be targeted. But you've got to think, like you said, if Jay plays his idol, Adam's going to play it right away. And this is in the scenario where Will has immunity.
And then I think people are even more freaked out by Adam, though, because they didn't know he had an idol, and they're already suspicious of him being sneaky, and now he plays an idol that nobody knew existed.
Yeah. It's very possible. It is almost – they are setting up an Adam boot anyway, because we have gotten these past 2 episodes have been kind of really ripping into Adam's character. But I want to see the kid stay around. I'm an Adam fan. So I have him at 4. You have him at what?
10.
10? So that would give you 6 points.
That'd be huge.
But then Sunday will go in one of them, and it will be over. So.
All right. Well, anyway, who are you using as your eliminator, Will? You got 3 people left. I used Hannah.
Who are my options?
You have Chris, Brett, and Jay. That's all you have left.
I'm going Jay. Even though I should probably save him since he's the winner. I'll go
I
Jay
hope Chris
here.
and Brett both go this episode because then it's over.
Yeah, I guess. Man, this eliminator thing is so tough. Everyone who I pick is still in the game. It is nuts.
Literally every person you picked is still in the game. Literally every one of them.
Ridiculous.
That's harder to do than, like, actually win.
Yeah, we have to create a new game with rules. You have to pick someone who's going to stay in the game.
Through 8 weeks, you picked 8 people, and they are 8 out of the final 11. That's crazy. That's really hard to do.
I pick people who don't go home.
Ever.
All right.
Man. Well, that's...
Oh, go ahead. I'm just thinking about Jay now. I mean, this would be terrible if he goes home. My winner pick collapses. All my predictions collapse. I'm out of the eliminator game. And he's on the bottom, you know? It wouldn't be that surprising if he goes.
Yeah, I mean, you need to worry about Chris and Brett, too, though. I mean, you can't have them go anywhere.
Well, who do you have left?
I have Chris, Brett, Zeke, and Jessica.
Okay, well, if Jessica goes, then it's, you know, close to being knotted up.
My ace in the hole right now is Zeke.
Yeah, it's going to make it tough.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, let's go to comments. We don't have that many, but, you know, we'll roll through Twitter, which I think is only Giovanni, so I'm going to try to split this up because, geez, Giovanni, you're all over the place here. Giovanni, do you think at least one idol will play it in either hour? I mean, I think that this is definitely going to be at least one idol. I wouldn't be surprised if we see 2 or 3 come out, but definitely one.
I think Jay's idol is almost a guarantee to be played in these 2 episodes.
Yeah.
In one, yeah.
Giovanni, is this 2 hours of Survivor, 1 episode, or 2 episodes? It is 2 episodes. There's going to be 2 tribals. The preview for this was actually really cool and really well put together and really revealing of, like, you know, what their plan is to do, at least. So it looks like we're getting 2 reward challenges, 2 immunity challenges, 2 tribal councils.
Cool. Sign me up.
Giovanni, again, which side would you side? Chris, Brett, and Sunday, or David, Ken, and Jessica?
I mean, tough question to answer. It depends who you like more and connect with. Like, but as fans, who am I rooting for? Honestly, I mean,
I like both sides.
Yeah, I like both sides. I want to see Chris and Brett do something. Like I've enjoyed both of them on the show. They just haven't done like a lick of anything. So it'd be cool for them to like get, I don't know, get some numbers and make some moves happen. Bring over Jay because Brett and Jay have that relationship. I don't know. I want to see them do something. We've seen Jessica, Ken, and David kind of be active early on. Though I do like those three.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Like, Chris in the last episode made like the comment of like, yeah, I finally like have some sort of control or something, and like it'll be interesting to see if like they can actually do something because they've been on the wrong side pretty much the entire time. As weird as that is.
Yeah, I mean, just in that Gen X tribe, once Chris swapped over, it became pretty clear that he was feeling good with the Gen Xers. Or with the Millennials, and that Michelle would probably be that next boot. And then since the merge, has been in the majority. So he's been chilling for a little bit.
For a little. I'm going to jump over to YouTube just because it is all Giovanni. So I'm going to go back and forth here. But CVB, I think Zeke could get screwed next episode after telling everybody about Jay's idol. Everybody will realize how big of a threat he is because he's cool with everyone. I can also see Jay instructing Will to tell Zeke he has an idol after him or Jay win the immunity challenge. Cause Gen Xers to think one of them is going home and cause complete chaos. Take the target off Jay and Will so he won't have to play the idol. See, that's a good point. What if this is after, let's say, Will wins immunity? And he's like, Jay has an idol.
Yeah, that's the whole thing with Jay instructing Will to go say that would be very high-level gameplay and would be awesome. Like, I would love that so much for that to be the case. Because really, what reason does Will have to now kind of say Jay has an idol? Like, unless it's just let's say like, Ken wins immunity again or Chris wins immunity, and it's like Will knows it's him or Jay. Maybe he says, well, Jay has an idol to try to put the target on Jay. But doing that, I don't think is going to really achieve anything. If anything, Jay will now be on his toes, play the idol, and everyone's going to vote for you. Like, I don't think that would help Will. Again, maybe Will's not the smartest player, so he blabbers anyway. But that wouldn't make much sense to me either.
Yeah, that's why I think this whole point of like, if Will wins immunity, he says this is like a really good idea and could possibly be the case because he could say to them, look, I want immunity and Jay has an idol. You guys are going to lose. And that could be why David and Hannah are down by the water. And it's like, did you hear what he told Zeke? It's like, we're in trouble here. But I don't know. I don't think that's actually the case. But it's an interesting, different way to look at it.
It is. And have we ever had that happen on Survivor before where it's like, go tell him I have an idol, like to spook him. I know we have people putting stuff in their pockets when they don't really have idols, creating fake idols. But when someone actually has an idol, have they actively tried to have that information revealed as a strategic advantage? I don't know if we've seen that before.
Well, I'm not sure.
Hey, Jay, I'm telling you, you could do it.
Yeah. CVB, I'm with you, Will. Jay, along with David and Hannah, are my top winner picks. The Michaela boot made me question it a bit, along with him calling some tribe mates idiots this episode. The show could so easily edit him as the huge villain, and they're not. They're giving him a multidimensional edit.
Yep, I agree.
Dragon Yell, why is that?
Honestly,
go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. It's honest. It's Hannah, David, or Jay winning, right? I mean, are you with that? Are you good with that?
I'm not going to count out Chris. I'm not going to count out Adam, and I'm not going to count out Zeke. I mean, I would say the only ones who definitely aren't going to win are Sunday, Jessica, and Brett.
Will.
And Will. I completely forgot about Will. Will and Brett. I think those four definitely aren't going to win.
Well, what a prediction by Phil. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why.
Well, but I'm saying like no, but okay, screw you, bro. I mean,
I know.
I'm just saying, with what's left, there has not been one edit that makes sense, and like Hannah's edit has been so all over the place. Like to sit here and say she's one of the top 3 winners right now, it's like she could also be getting the Shireen from Worlds Apart edit, where it's like she starts off kind of having no clue what's going on, then she comes around and then she gets booted. Like that could easily be what happens to her.
Yeah, I just feel like as like the winner, a winner is going to need a story, is going to need an arc. And so far, Hannah, David, and Jay are the only ones that have had like an arc, really, like at all.
Like where Adam's had an arc.
He's had like a
Zeke.
Zeke had what emotional story does Zeke have? You said this before when you were talking about Chris, and you were like, "This is why Chris is into my top because we haven't had that like." really emotional. What about
I
his family? What about his childhood? Like, we heard him talking about football one time. Like,
no, we had the emotion though from Zeke way back. I think it was just episode 1, like where he was like talking about how he's proud of himself for overcoming all this stuff, and like it's stuff that he was never able to do, and made the fire, and like he's finally like they'd already changed him as a person. Like, I think Zeke's definitely had the emotion. It just happened at the beginning more than it's happened now. Now he's almost turned into the I'm going to cut everybody's throat.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not saying he has had no emotion, but compared to the other people, I don't know. When you look at Hannah, David, or Jay, they have like a clear-cut story, beginning, middle, end, if they do end up winning. You look at Hannah, someone who's having anxiety attacks without even participating in the challenge. She was on the wrong side of the vote. She hits the merge. She starts, getting the majority, making moves, kind of gaining this power and liking it and taking that on and, really controlling the game until the end. That would be like a very fitting story of how Hannah started as like this nerdy comedian girl who comes out and learns about herself and wins the game. Possible story. David, he was like the nerd, bullied. He was so paranoid. Everyone was wary of him. They might be the first boot on the Gen X tribe, but then, similar to Hannah, finds a way to turn around. Jay, super likable, charming guy. We've heard about how he's a millennial and he works hard, and he's not like this lazy millennial. We've heard so much about that. And then people paint him as this huge threat, and then he overcomes that, even be labeled a threat. He overcomes that and wins, similar to like what Parvati did. So I don't know what, like, Adam, he's tanked so far down. What is the narrative if he's the winner? What is the story of the Adam win? Is that he was a super fan, played great, and then no one trusts him, but he somehow wins the jury vote? Like, how does he win the jury vote with the edit that we've seen these past 2 episodes?
But there are arcs that turn it around. I mean, it could happen. There's still 11 people left in the game. I mean, it's not like, oh, well, now we've hit final 11. Adam's officially a douche. Like, that's not the case.
No, I'm not saying he's officially a douche. I'm saying his chances of winning, I would give him like less.
Oh no, they're going
1%.
down. But I don't think you can completely count him out. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, that's fine. So who do you think right now? Put gun
to
your head.
David in the last episode. I already said.
Okay, got it. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
So yeah, Dragon Yell. Why is Adam playing so dumb all of a sudden? Makes me think he was playing dumb the whole time. I think he's playing too aggressive. I think that's really all it is. Gregory Fuller, do you think it is a good move to get wasted in Survivor? Remember Brian Heidick did it in Survivor Thailand. He said it was a good move because it humanized him to his tribe. And would you get wasted if you were on Survivor?
Absolutely.
I mean, Will would definitely get wasted. There's no doubt.
I mean, it's not even – I mean, there's a lot of benefits to it. I think Brian made a really good point. And it's, when people get really drunk, they get more vulnerable. And when you're vulnerable, it shows that you're a human. So I completely agree with Brian's analysis. And also, if you're out there like miserable for however many days and there's a reward, you're 25 days into living in absolute filth, not eating, not sleeping. Someone offers you a nice cold beer. Are you not going to have 3 or 4, maybe 5, maybe 6, maybe 7 of those? Absolutely. You're gonna really enjoy that. You're on vacation essentially from living in an absolute hell.
Do you want people to see the drunk side of you though, Will? Do you think that would actually be beneficial to your game?
On Survivor? Honestly, depends who I was with, but honestly, there's not that many people on that island. You're there 24/7. You probably have a pretty good idea of everybody, and everybody probably knows you pretty well. I would probably – would you not drink?
Oh, no, I'd probably drink and really regret it like 10 minutes later. But I'm
not saying that hangover would be
that side of
brutal.
Will, I mean, I don't know if that's exactly going to get you jury votes,
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if that's your best move. You might want to stay like extra sober while you're out there.
No, because then people would be like, huh, what's this guy got to hide? Can't do that.
You got plenty to hide. Gregory Fuller, which players from this season would you want to see return for another season? I would want to see Jay, Zeke, Adam, David, and Hannah play again. This is always like a question that we always get. And I'll just say, like, with this cast, there's a pretty good reason to bring back most of them. Like, in terms of, like, all, like, the different things they do now, considering game changers or people who just don't talk. And I would say that there's maybe only, like, 3 or 4 people that I really would be like, oh, my God, why are they bringing them back? I feel like everybody else, I'm kind of like, all right, like, if Mari comes back, it's like, yeah, she went way before her time. Like, You know, like, sure, bring her back. Like, I wouldn't want to see Lucy back. I don't want to see Rachel back. I don't think they'd ever bring Paul back. But, like, if they said Figgy's coming back, I'd be like, okay, like, let's see what Figgy can do this. Like, I don't know. With this cast, I'm pretty much okay with just about anybody.
What about someone like Ken? So Ken, I've enjoyed him. I'm a fan of Ken's. I don't like I've said a bunch. I don't think he's winning. I like him. I like him as a character. It doesn't mean I'm not allowed to predict that he doesn't win. But I am a fan of Ken. I wouldn't really want to. I don't need to see Ken play again. Like,
I don't think you ever would.
Yeah, that's a player who, because there's a difference between saying which players do you like and which players would you want to see play again. Like a Ken playing again, I don't think we'd get anything new. Brett, I like Brett. I don't really need to see Brett play again. Chris, I have really enjoyed Chris from what we've seen. That's a person I actually would like to see play again, have be a more prominent character. But yeah, Sunday, Jessica, Will, I don't need to see those people play again.
Like I said though, I think like if Survivor had a reason, like this is the cast that I would want them to pull from the most, with like a, hey, we're doing a whatever, blah 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 versus blah blah blah. I'd want them to look at this cast first. Is what I'm pretty much saying right now.
Yeah, like if they needed to fill a certain quota or certain tribes, then absolutely, like I'd be cool with Brett playing again. I just wouldn't put him at like the top of the list. But I see what
you look at like what's coming for next season, and this is spoilers. You've been warned, so if anybody's listening. But if you look at somebody like playing for next season, somebody like Sarah, I would much rather see Michelle play again. I'd much rather see even like Hannah play again. I'd much rather see Figgy play again. That's pretty much the point I'm trying to make here. I hope that like when they're running low, like when it comes to like, do we bring back Sierra from Worlds Apart? It's like, no, let's go and ask Jessica Lewis to play again. Like to me, that's like it's like a no-brainer.
Right.
Like for as Jessica Lewis's game was this season, bring her. Go look at her before you look at these people from these random seasons that are forgettable. Instead of bringing back Monica Culpepper, bring back Figgy. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I mean, we both really like this cast. So,
yeah,
in agreement there.
Gregory Fuller, I don't think Jay is dumb, but I also don't think he's going to win this game. CVB, do you consider Michelle's vote off a blindside? I didn't think it was, but other people are saying it is. If so, that would make this only the second non-blindside this season, the other being Rachel. I don't think it was a blindside. Michelle didn't think she was going, though. But she knew that. I think she said she kind of had an idea, but her alliance told her to just chill because they had the numbers. So maybe it was a little bit of a blindside, but I don't think she was like floored that she went home.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to blindside. It's not like a cut and dry thing. Probably everyone except the person with immunity at some point thinks, oh man, how could this be me? And they think about it. And just because you think about it doesn't mean you think it's going to happen. So it's tough to really like grade a blindside. They haven't used hashtag blindside like at all this season. It's pretty weird. And they used it in really random times where I didn't even think it was as warranted as some of the other blindsides. So that's even tougher to predict.
Yeah. No, it's weird. And like I thought for sure with this hashtag blindside prop bet, that would be like a big thing. Like a lot of people would have that. I think so far you're right. We only have 2.
Crazy.
Weird. All right, let's jump back over here. Giovanni, who will replace Taylor as the hashtag king? We haven't seen many hashtags this season either, which is really, really weird. There haven't been that many. And Taylor was most of them.
Yeah, I think I have Zeke or Hannah for a hashtag, and I need them to come through big time. I have so few bets that I can come back and tie or top fill it with, and I think I have those 2 for episode title and hashtag. So. Hopefully they come through for me. But yeah, I want some more hashtags.
Yeah, it's weird. Hopefully we get a few more. Let me see. Giovanni, is Zeke exceeding your expectations to become one of my favorite players of the modern age? I would actually say Zeke's like below my expectations. Zeke was so hyped coming into the season. Not saying that I don't like it. I just think like he hasn't quite been that there was around.
Yeah, the expectations have been super high. I wasn't hearing you very clearly, so. But yeah, a lot. I think we're going to get more from Zeke. That's also why I'm so high. I didn't say this before. I have him at number 3 just because I know Zeke is going to do something really big. And I think when he does that, he's going to last, and it will probably be some move or flip, blindside, something like that. That will be big from Zeke. And I'm looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm. Giovanni, who had the better boot episode, Drew or Taylor, and who's the better player? I mean, Drew's episode's a classic.
That's the best episode of San Juan del Sur.
Yeah. In terms of better player, that's like who's the better team, the 08 Lions or this year's Cleveland Browns? Like, it doesn't matter.
I think Taylor's probably the better player.
He wasn't very good, dude.
He wasn't very good, but he's better than Drew.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Giovanni, should Chris, Brett, and Sunday target Ken instead of Jessica since he's a bigger threat?
Is he, though? I mean, physically, yes. But from what we've seen, maybe Ken is checked out. And you were saying this last week, Phil, that Ken is just, like, tired or he's just not really doing much. And that's probably why we haven't seen him for 3 straight episodes in front of the camera. So Jessica, who knows what she's doing and like what we're being shown. She could be a bigger threat than Ken. We don't even know it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think people are looking at Jessica as more of a social threat, which is
exactly
says something about her gameplay. Let's see. I'm going to go back to comments real quick. Thomas Zelenka, I think Jay could still win, but his Michaela blindside was a terrible move, and his 2 close allies got voted out because of it. And, Will, you gave a pretty in-depth response to this, to which Thomas then responded with even more in-depthness. I'm not going to read both of those, but if you guys want to check that out, I think
read the response from his second response, or his first response to my response. Because there's something he's like, you can't deny it. I didn't really understand what you can't deny.
Well, his response is super long, but he said you can never know for sure what would happen if he didn't blindside her, but you can't deny that he lost 2 allies and wasn't targeted himself only out of the fear of him playing an idol. You just can't deny that. And you can't deny that me and others were predicting it. But I was also saying that he showed some skill already and that he could still go far.
Yeah, the argument I laid out, if anyone wants to read this in the comments, is that even if he votes out Brett and keeps Michaela, he's likely, very, very likely, to be on the wrong side of the numbers at the merge. And, of course, there's no way to know this. But if you look at it, it would be Jay, Will, Michaela with Taylor and Michelle. Hannah likely joins Adam and Zeke. She really does. And if anyone disagrees, that's fine. Why would Hannah join a 6, right? Let's say this is now Hannah. Why would she go to a 6 against a 7? She'd go with Adam and Zeke. And even if she did go, it'd still be 7-6. So Jay would have been on the bottom anyway and likely lose Michelle, Taylor, Will, or Michaela, who's a big threat. So he was likely going to lose 2 allies anyway at the merge, whether he blindsided Michaela or not. What blindside Michaela allowed him to do was enter the merge having successfully voted with Brett and Sunday, which would increase his chance of pulling them over and sticking with them and say, look, I just saved you. I get along with you guys. Obviously, that didn't pan out for him. But either way, Jay would have not had the numbers at the merge, and he did take out a big threat in the game in Michaela, who could have messed up his game. If Jay now wants to hang with Taylor and Michelle all of a sudden, Michaela could get really mad and say, we agreed on the Final Four. This was our plan. And she could go blow Jay's game up. That's something she could do. So I don't know. And the whole idea that Jay became a bigger threat because he blindsided Michaela, that's absolutely true. But I think Jay was always going to be one of the top threats at the merge anyway. That was always going to be the case. He's a stud in challenges. Everyone mentioned his charm. Like when Zeke was talking about Jay's charm, that had nothing to do with the Michaela vote. I don't even think he knew about the Michaela vote and that Jay spearheaded it yet. So he would have been a threat and not had the numbers at the merge. He's likely losing 2 allies back-to-back either way. So I think this move gives him credit if he gets to the end and has to make a case to a jury. So honestly, we won't really know either way, even if he does win or if he loses. We can't really guarantee and say this was a bad move or not. But at least that's the case for why, this move was worth doing.
Yeah. I think it's a well thought out point there, Will. I'll give you credit for that. As Brian says right here, Will, stop trying to be a cool kid and root for Jay. Sonia Kenny.
I will never be a cool kid. Don't worry.
Yeah, we all know that. Sonia Kenny. Jay has limited options. Will next week tells Gen X that Jay is an idol. Will voted for Jay. Zeke is the one with the options. Jay's at the bottom with Adam. He ate the food too with Taylor and was ousted. Plus, he lied on Adam. Zeke has Jay's number. Sunday has no pull. Brett talked to Chris, and they put Sunday on ice. The previews are a misdirect. Jay has an ego and is never making it to Final Three. Jay embellishes and lies, and he's going to use this tactic on the wrong person.
I mean, embellishes and lies? Who else does that? Like, probably half the winners of Survivor. I mean, that's something that if you do well actually gets you to the end and gets you votes. I mean, look at the first person who won this game. Look at season 5 and Brian. Look at Tony. Look at Tyson. You know, was Tyson eating food and embellishing and lying? Absolutely. We'll see how it turns out. It's really funny how I think there's a lot of people that really are not fans of Jay. And
Jay got the most LVP votes this week.
Wow. So he's on your team too. So you get the minus points, even though I'm the one sitting here and defending him.
Which is completely ridiculous because what he did last week was nowhere near LVP.
Yeah, not waste his idol.
Yeah, like he played normal. He did what he did and didn't have to
bonded with Sunday, who's on the majority, and got information from her so that he wouldn't waste an idol. Yeah, okay, LVP.
The people are blinded by how much they just want Jay to go home right now. Anyway.
Yeah, and maybe it's increased because I keep defending him.
I think it has.
Stop.
I think people just don't like you.
Hey, that happens a lot.
All right. Brian, Hannah is probably my third least liked. Jay, Will, and Hannah are the 3 I want gone. GZG abuse. I mean, Will, these are all for you. GZG abuse. Before I watch, I'm 100% sure Will is going to be riding Jay's blank. He's top 3 winner ever. He's the most strategic person ever. He's the MVP because he blindsided Michaela and his 2 other allies. I don't even dislike Jay. I dislike his fans.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is like this cycle where we have immediately after an episode, and again, we can keep talking about this. This has been the focal point of this season, the Michaela blindside and Jay being the one to do it. So, I mean, if you mind talking about this over and over, I certainly don't. But we both came on here and said we didn't think it was that bad of a move. Every single person in the online Survivor community pretty much has said it was a terrible move. Why did he do that? He has no chance of winning. And I tried to say, hey, you know, this is how he can win. This is why this wasn't such a bad move. Like I just explained, he could have gotten Brett and Sunday to vote with him after the merge. That didn't happen, but he had a better chance of having more numbers by performing this move, keeping Michaela quiet about his idol, et cetera, et cetera. And the fact that there's so much backlash to that, and the fact that we were called idiots, and the fact that he still hasn't gone home and seems to be in a pretty good position makes me want to defend him more, and that makes me more of a fan. It makes me want to defend him even more. So it's just like piling on. Every comment that says you're an idiot for saying Jay has a chance to win the game makes me want to defend them more, which makes me understand, you know, Jay's game more and makes me a bigger fan. So it's kind of just a big cycle, and we'll see how it shakes out. But if I am writing him a little too hard, that's probably true, but I'm defending his game. What can I say? I'm not even that big of a Jay fan. It's really because I now want to prove that he had a chance is why I'm rooting for him. I would still like Adam to win.
You know who this reminds me of, right? Does this remind anybody of anything last year when it's, Phil, you're such an idiot. She's not going to get a single vote at Final Tribal. Phil, you're such an idiot. At most, she gets 2 votes. Phil, you're such an idiot. She's the worst player ever. Phil, you're such an idiot. And all of those people who call me an idiot sure look silly. So, Will, I'm kind of rooting for Jay a little bit, just so that anybody who ever called you an idiot or like got really mad at you for just defending what you thought was a fine move, more power to you, so you can feel the joy I felt after that final vote was read and it said Michelle, and I was like, yo, come at me. Like, let's
go. Yeah, you went through that all last season, and people saying, like, Michelle's a nobody, she's not even playing, and all this stuff, and Phil kept making points, like, this is what she's doing, this is how the edit is showing her as a winner, and he kept saying this, and it ended up coming true. So,
and I was an idiot.
Yeah, I hope, man. I'm not, again, this is why, like, now, even just having this conversation, I am now rooting for Jay about 10 times more than I was heading into this podcast.
All right, Austin Ketchum, LOL. I remember in preseason I thought Will's team was way better, but I ended up picking about half of each of your favorites from both of your teams, and I'm smoking my friend in our fantasy game. We have all the same rule except for MVP and LVP, but we added some ways to lose points, like leaving the auction without an idol. played or adding points for winning individual immunity 3 times or more on fire. But my only player voted out is and was Mari. My friend has lost 3 people, and our Phantom Tribe has lost has only Sunday and Ken left. I was in last until week 3 and have been in first ever since week 4. I mean, yeah, everybody was saying my team was terrible. I mean, Will's got 3 people left. I got 6. I've only lost Figgy, and she was my second pick.
I mean, hey, what do you? The problem is you have Jay, so you're gonna end up getting the winner.
Well, here's the other thing. Out of the people I have Jay, I have David, and I have Hannah.
Oh man, yeah, you have the winner, at least in my.
And then I have Chris, and I have Zeke.
Wow, how'd you get this team? It's like we hadn't seen the characters. It's like we hadn't seen the characters play before he drafted them or something.
It's unreal, right? But like, I just remember you being like, "Phil, your team's terrible," and I'm like, "Well, we'll see what happens." And hey, I don't know. It's domination. Let's see. Jeff Steinberg, how often does the person who wins individual immunity not get a confessional? This is kind of what Will said earlier. It does happen more often than you think.
Really?
It does.
And I'm not saying get a confessional right after the challenge. I'm saying at all throughout the episode.
No, it happens more often than you would think. I'm telling you. If you go back and actually look for that, it does happen more often than you think. I'm not saying it happens often.
Someone dig this up for me. When's the last time that happened? I'd be curious.
I know for a fact it happened to Wu. 100%.
In Cambodia or in Cagayan?
In Cagayan, I know 100% it happened to Wu.
Yeah, Wu didn't make the merge. What am I talking about? Yeah. Cagayan. Yeah. So that would have been, let's say.
It might have happened in Worlds Apart, too. I mean, Mike won all those immunities.
Joe won one.
I'm trying to think. Somebody find this, because I think this happens more often than you think.
I'm going to go and say I think it's pretty rare. I think it's pretty rare.
I don't know. Zach Abrams, do you think that they showed Sunday getting confessionals because she will be going next week, like what happened with Monica Padilla in Cambodia?
Yes.
Yeah, see, I don't think so.
We disagree. It's fine.
Which is fun. Zach Abrams, Hannah's facial expression during the Adam vs. Taylor Tribal Council was priceless. Hannah is growing on me as the season goes on. I agree with that completely.
There's that arc. There's that narrative.
Wow, an arc. Zach Abrams, I just want to know what season had your favorite Ponderosa moments. Tocantins was my favorite, but maybe just because I love Tyson so much and he is so entertaining. I would say Heroes versus Villains and Tocantins are gold. Gabon is hilarious, too, because they wouldn't talk to Crystal or Kenny. And Charlie was like, guys, I'm so scared. Like, why won't my friends let me talk to these people? They're just people. That is a phenomenal.
I haven't watched all those.
Yeah, those 3 seasons are my favorite.
Are those on YouTube? Where can I find all those? I would love to watch Gabon. I don't think I ever watched that.
I don't know. I know you can find the Heroes versus Villains on YouTube. I'm not sure about Gabon and Tocantins, but Gabon and Tocantins and Heroes vs. Villains, that was when I was like, oh my God, Ponderosa is the greatest thing ever. And then it kind of fell off a little bit. Now they've made it more into like a web series. But it's still, I mean, it's good, but those 3 seasons were just a different level.
Yeah, like when Gabon aired, that was what, 2008? Where were they putting these videos?
They were very short, and they were just putting them on the CBS website.
Interesting.
I think that was the first season they did it for. Or they might have done it in Micronesia. It was one of those 2 seasons.
Yeah, it is really fun to watch, especially when the more people show up, really picks up.
Yeah, this Taylor one from last week was really fun. If you guys haven't watched yet.
It was good. Yeah.
Gamer Girl, my face was Jeff's during the tribal. I don't hate Jay at all. He's a mixed bag for me. Also, I didn't like Taylor because pre-merge he was too blinded by love, and post-merge he tried to target one of my favorites. I don't like anyone who tries to target one of my favorites. That being Adam.
That might be like why so many people dislike Jay.
Well, she goes on to say that's also one of my reasons why I'm mixed on Jay.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
The game doesn't care about who your favorite player is. Just letting you know.
Yeah. Gamer Girl says, Taylor's nothing like Greg Buis. This was in response to me saying that they had a very similar exit. Yes, they both thought they were on vacation, but Greg Buis wasn't blinded by love. And he was out there when he was out there, and I don't think he was strategic like Taylor was. What? Greg Buis is one of the most strategic players. That's why Hatch voted him out. Also, Will, we're not getting an SJDS situation. There's too many winner threats left. Go back and rewatch that first season. The reason Greg Buis is voted out by Richard Hatch is because Richard said, I'm getting rid of the threats. He knew Greg Buis was the only one other than him who could win the game and possibly overthrow him.
Yep. I mean, look, I don't think Phil was saying Taylor and Greg are the most similar players. He just said he kind of reminded him about the vibe of the the vacation aspect and just enjoying it and really playing for the experience and not so much the money. And I think that was the comparison that was being made.
Yeah.
Not
and Greg had Colleen and Taylor had Figgy. And Colleen made it all the way to Final Six, and Figgy did not.
It'd be great to see Greg come back. It really would be.
It would be that'd be just too good. Yeah, that's.
We get Sierra Dawn Thompson for next season.
Yeah, and we had Scoop and play twice. And how's that working out for everybody now? Anybody who wants to know about the Scoop and stuff, go look online. It's fun. Michael Ciancaglini, I guess. As a Gen Xer, I'm rooting for Ken David, and in the Millennials, Adam. If they all go, give it to Chris.
All right. I want to see more of Chris. I can't say that enough.
Yeah, I want to see more of him too. Paintball V1. Hey, Phil, Will, love your content. So if Jay does somehow pull off a run and get into Final Three, who does he absolutely need to sit next to win it all? I think he could sit next to anybody. I think this is very similar to the Mike Holloway situation where everybody didn't like him, but he made it there and they respected him for it. And I think that's exactly the same thing that could happen to Jay. And
similar to the Mike Holloway situation, the first few jury members were all like totally in his pocket the entire time. Yeah. And I don't think Jay needs to win every immunity, though. I can see the comparison with Mike, but I don't want to say he needs to win every immunity. I think Jay has so many more options than Mike ever did. We discussed this earlier, maybe it was last week or 2 weeks ago, where like they would not talk to Mike. They said, sit over there. He eats on his own. Like he was completely ostracized, had no options to do anything. If anyone talked to Mike, they got looked at as, like a flipper almost. Like it was crazy. And Dan kept saying flippers never win every 10 seconds. And what a bizarre season that was. I think Jay has options. He could lose. He could probably do it without winning. He probably needs to win one or two, but the options are there for Jay. There's a lot of people left, a lot of pieces, and he's great at building relationships and charming the pants off of people. So I still think he can get it done. Yeah.
Heroes Revenge. Am I the only one that liked Taylor more than Michaela? I think you might be. They were although they were polarizing. I talked to my parents about it, and they didn't like Michaela very much.
Yeah, I don't know if I like Taylor more than Michaela. I might put them equal as like who brought me smiles and laughter and joy and entertainment from the screen. I think they might be tied. I really thought Taylor was an awesome contribution to this season. I talked about that in last week's recap.
Yeah, I would rather see Michaela play again, though, and I think Michaela's a better player for sure. Yeah. And the thing with Michaela is she's a better player and she's got the crazy personality. Taylor's just personality. So give me Michaela every time.
Oh, right. Again, this is a perfect example of like I maybe like Taylor a little bit more than Michaela potentially. I don't know if that's true. Got him about neck and neck right now. I do not need to see Taylor play again at all, and I want to see Michaela play again, like very badly. So that's, again, a good example of you can like a player and be like, all right, seen him, don't need to bring him back. That's Taylor.
Yeah. Jake Trinex, I don't like how you guys disregard people as possible winners based on their screen time. Look at Natalie White. She won with very little confessionals and screen time, so you can't count anyone out. That is the ultimate outlier, though, Jake. That is the ultimate outlier. That was a Russell Hant show. They were prepping Russell for Heroes versus Villains. Even in Heroes versus Villains, Sandra got way less screen time than other winners because it was the Russell show. And they were prepping Russell for just making him the star of this show. And if you look through it, that has not happened since, and it will never happen again. Like that was insane how little screen time she got because of Russell.
I mean, he played three times in 4 seasons. That they're just driving him, like Phil said. He was the star. He played 19, 20, and 22. Yeah. So
he played 78 straight days of Survivor. Like they knew when Samoa was being aired and when they were editing it, they knew that he made it to the final tribal council of Heroes versus Villains. Natalie White never stood a chance to get any screen time in that season. Never stood a chance. They wanted people to be mad that Russell lost. They wanted them to be.
Right. Yeah, couldn't have said it any better. And I mean, it's not even just solely about screen time. It's like when the screen time is, what the screen time covers. There's a lot of things to look at, and you can certainly write people off. Like you can write Will and Brett off in Sunday. Like they're not winning. And a lot of that is based on screen time. It's also what we've seen of them. So
The Real Negro. Hey, guys, just realized a fun Survivor fact. Natalie's sister was voted out first. Natalie won. Val was voted out second, and Jeremy won his second chance. Thought it was funny that the first two voted out of Blood vs. Water 2. Their loved one won the game. Just realized that while I'm unfortunately giving Sam Mondosur a second try. Will brings up a great point. This means Julie McGee must win a future season.
She's got it. Put it in the books. Julie McGee.
She must.
That's John Rocker's.
Yeah, for everybody who forgot, because she was that formidable.
Yeah. The most like, I want to quit because I want to go on vacation with my boyfriend. Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, because your millionaire boyfriend who is a baseball pitcher can't just take you on vacation afterwards.
Yeah, man. Another reason why San Juan del Sur is just, it's like you have people that are literally, my loved one got voted out, I'm done playing the game. Like, that's the kind of people we had on that season.
Great season. That was sarcasm. Bart J. Braswell. In a three-way tie, if someone plays an idol on themselves, they allowed in the revote. So if Chris, Jess, and Jay all get 3 votes this week and Jay plays his idol, can he vote or does he sit out with the other 2? He votes because those votes don't count.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Real Negro. Everyone in Borneo had a smile on their face when they left except Greg. That's probably the best exit ever, especially when Rudy said he believed him. Yeah, that's what I was talking about with kind of like how Taylor went and Greg. They're very similar. CVB. Is it just me, or is Sunday just like Julia from last season 30 years from now? Personality-wise, they have sweet, nurturing voice, seem to be very affectionate. They are both under the radar, but seem like very social people in real life. Physically, I can totally see Julia's facial features developing to be like Sunday's. They also have the same hair color, and neither appear to be much more than 5 feet tall. How about the fact that they're both trying to be strategic and just kind of being ignored? Like, I like how we did everything but that.
Yeah, I like it. I like this one.
Yeah.
I'll take it. It's, she changed her name.
Yeah. Dennis O'Connell, hey, you guys think it'll be a Final 6 finale? What do you think? Well, I'm trying to figure that out too. How many do you think they're going to be in this final finale?
So we have this Wednesday. I think there's one more Wednesday in November, and then there's 2 in December. I think that's 6.
Yeah, that looks like it should be 6.
So there's going to be a tribal to go to 5, tribal to go to 4, tribal. God, it's so many tribals.
Yeah, unless we get a double boot episode in there, which I don't think we will, unless it gets real predictable. But it's kind of late now.
We might get because just the number of it's the number of days too to look at. Yeah, I think we're gonna get another not 2 hours, but 1 hour with 2 people going. I think it's impossible if they don't do that.
We'll see. Real Negro, sup guys? Do you think David may play his idol for Jess again? How crazy would that be? I don't think so. I think David is now for David.
Yeah, it's down to the 11 people left. You're gonna want to play that on yourself, or it wouldn't be so much playing it for Jessica. You're playing it to idol somebody out of the game. So yeah, technically, if he knows Jessica's getting the votes, but he could play it for Ken. He could play it for even Chris or Brett maybe, just to keep a number, idol somebody out. So that's, I guess, possible.
Real Negro, Sunday is the type of player who could ruin the game. No reason to go after Jess. She's not a threat at all. Good for Sunday for finally playing the game, but man, I hope she goes before Jess. I really like Jess. Hope to see her, Ken, and David in the end.
I don't think that's likely.
Yeah. I don't either. Dennis O'Connell, I can't see a millennial winning. All of them have pretty bad edits except Zeke, but I see him going soon. Once everyone realizes he's a threat, hope to see Chris, Ken, or David pull it off. What are your guys' thoughts? I know you guys like Jay, but I can't see it make past Final 7. Man, if you listen to this podcast, you know exactly what Will's thoughts are. That's for sure. So I wouldn't count out the millennials. I could see Hannah winning too. So.
Yep, I think Hannah, Jay, and David again. Those are I think it's one of them. It's one of them 3.
Christopher Doucette, I love this episode. If it's predictable boot, at least make it funny and dramatic, which they definitely did. Giovanni, with Chris, Brett, and Sunday together, does that make David's idol play on Jessica more sense? He needs numbers in order to take down Chris. I mean, look, this did kind of work out now. Jessica could be a vote for David right now that Lucy was never going to be. And so It could actually be working in his favor.
Yeah, it could lead him to victory.
Yeah. Boosh Bear, do you guys think this episode gave Sunday a winner's edit? Phil, will you please give me your Snapchat info?
Wow,
No.
I was gonna say, what a normal Survivor-related comment from Bush Bear for like the first time ever, and then he goes on to ask for Phil's Snapchat. What was the question? This was a Sunday
Did
winner
it give
edit?
Sunday a winner's edit? So I said no.
No, I don't think it is.
And my Snapchat would disappoint you. There's no pictures of me. Jake Conley. Can we expect a non-predictable boot in the second vote for the 2-hour episode? Might not be able to know what extra is happening. I don't think that these are going to be – either one is going to be very predictable unless Will goes in the first.
They can't really – I don't – because often we say this when they choose to do 2 in a row, it's because like sometimes they do a pre-merge. I think they did that in Worlds Apart, where they just doubled up a pre-merge, or I forget when that exactly happened, but they do that sometimes. This is different. This is like Thanksgiving Wednesday in the books. You don't get to pick where you are at in the season. These were going to be the 2 regardless. I don't think this was based on boot order, these 2 episodes. This was always going to happen. And it will probably happen season 35. We'll be sitting here podcasting and saying, there's a double boot. Is it going to be predictable, the first one? And it's like, no, that's the schedule now.
Mm-hmm. Gamer Girl, fun fact, back when Redmond revealed the cast for the season, the first thing that came to mind was when I saw Jay, he's going to be a villain. However, I was thinking a Rocky Colton Nayanka Nasty type villain at the time. I would never have thought a Tyson type villain. It's fun.
Tyson, is he a winner?
Yeah, not the first time or the second time. Gamer Girl, let's move on from Ken to Jessica. Like Ken, she's both not invisible and not getting any confessionals. Why do you think this is? Maybe I was right about her being a dud. I mean, I don't think Jessica's a dud. I think their storyline, the 2 of them, it died down.
Central in those first few tribal councils, the Gen X tribal councils pre-merge. So, and they were shown as underdogs, relatable, like David, Ken, Jess. Like that was really the main characters from the Gen X before the swap. And so far, they're just standing pat in the majority, and that's it. There's not much to really build up. You would, though, think you could squeeze 1 confessional in for Ken in 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Or Jessica. I think, Jessica has had 1?
Jessica's only been 2, I think.
2? Okay. So, yeah, that whole trio, it could be sitting on the back burner, that's what I think. That's why I have Ken at 5, David at 2. I have Jessica a little bit lower because she's been targeted by name. But they're going to, pop back out before they get, picked off by Jay.
Yeah. There you go. Gamer Girl with a couple questions here. We've seen people call this the rich man's Fiji. Do you think this is also the rich man's Nicaragua? I could see that. It's old versus young, and, it seemed like it was going to be a landslide, and then it ended up actually being fun with real winner potential here instead of just random players that end up at the end. And I don't mean necessarily Fabio. I mean mainly it was Chase, Saj, Holly, and Fabio. That's a terrible Final Four.
Good, amazing skills by Fabio to surround himself with those people. Great.
Yeah.
Great
when do you think David plays his idol? Forgot he had one as well. I think that's going to be a little bit down the line. I don't think that happens yet. I don't think that happens tomorrow night.
It could.
It could, but I don't think it will. Good news, the ridiculous hate for David has gone down. Bad news, this hate is now on Adam. He's now the underrated, overhated one. Poor Adam. He really took a big hit.
Yeah, hopefully he can bring it back. It's just the flight path is not ascending. Just
no,
put it that way.
Definitely. Willow Kincaid, if you could redo Heroes vs. Villains again, who would you pick for each side from this season? Man, Taylor could probably end up on the villains tribe because he's an ass. Maybe as like the worst Tyson.
I mean, you would start if we really were gonna go through and do this. I don't know if we want to do that.
No, I don't want to do it, but
right. You would start by saying who do you remove from each tribe, heroes tribe, villains tribe, and then fill them with whatever best character kind of matches. But maybe we'll do that later.
Yeah. Zach Abrams, do you think that Survivor is learning from editing mistakes, and do you think they're going to keep up their editing brilliance? Man, I think they really did. I think after Sam Wondosur and Worlds Apart, even they realized people that had negative reactions. Second Chance was pretty well edited, but nothing great. And then Co Wrong in this season have been crazily well edited, very, very well edited.
Yeah. At some point, especially with the internet, the fans are they're heading towards Survivor talk and discussions, and the winner is always such a hot topic. And if you're a casual person who kind of starts realizing this, and it happens more and more, the editors are like, okay, now our fan base really is like getting mad when they can predict the winner and it's 5 episodes away from the finale. Like, that's not something they enjoy. And before, that was a really small section, and that section just is exponentially growing. Like, we see it too. We get more people listening and subscribing and things like that. So
yeah. Jeff Steinberg, who is the villain edit, Jay or Adam? Not sure. It's tough. It goes back and forth.
Yeah, I don't think there needs to be one like villain edit either. Jay certainly is the underdog at this point and has had some negative things said about him, but I don't think he's like this big, grandiose villain who's gonna, play maliciously. We did say Zeke too. I think Zeke is, especially this episode, we'll see his villain colors come out.
Yeah. And then let me just rip through a couple more of these Twitter comments just because I'm short on time. Adam Heinrich, looks as if Jay is going to take part in the reward as there are 11 people left and production divided the teams into 5. Wow, that sucks.
Wait, but that could be for the next,
No, but I think they already showed the screen. They showed one challenge where it was 5-on-5. So hopefully it doesn't mean Jay goes home because that would just be stupid.
Wait, what was the photo saying? Why can't this be the challenge at 10?
Because if it is the challenge at 10, then that means Jay goes first.
Oh no. We'll have to look into this.
Yeah. But I think this is the first challenge of the episode. And I think somebody just sits out, and I think it's a schoolyard pick'em, and I think Jay's the one who doesn't get picked.
Because they don't want him to win reward.
Exactly. Adam Heinrich, what are your thoughts on Adam and Sunday balling in the preview? What's your thoughts, Will?
I didn't really see it all that much. I mean,
they were crying pretty hard.
They were? I watched that preview twice, and I didn't really notice. I haven't seen it, so I can't really. I mean, I've seen it, but it didn't really cross my mind. If they're crying, what could it be about? Love letter, family letters?
That's what I'm thinking.
That's
what I'm thinking.
Phone call, Skype, something like that.
Yeah. And then Adam Heinrich and Giovanni both jump in with Tyler in Worlds Apart was the last person with no confessionals after winning immunity. So.
Okay, so
it's only 2 seasons ago. That's not that long ago.
It's not 2 seasons ago. We have full season of Cambodia, full season of Korong, and we're 2/3 way of Millennials vs. Gen X.
All right, so it's 3 seasons ago. Whatever. It's still not that. It's not that crazy, and I'm sure earlier it happened even more often before the editing got a little bit better. Go back and watch Samoa. That probably happens every time somebody other than Russell wins immunity.
Yeah, like Brett.
Yeah, who? What? There's a guy named Brett? Anyway, T-Rex Survivor, this is the last one. I think we'll see 2 idols played at the same tribal same as in Cambodia. I could see that. I think that we kind of said that already. If Jay plays his, Adam is going to pull his out.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're Adam and the person that should be getting all the votes, uh-oh. And because Jay and Adam are feuding right now. They do not get along. And I know there's a chance for them to make up. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do work together at some point. But as it is now, they are feuding.
Yeah, no, they are. And it's kind of actually funny. I mean, could this be God, who was it? We've seen this happen, though, where people feud and then all of a sudden, they're sitting next to each other somehow at the end. And it's wait, how did this happen? I'm trying to think. I know I've seen it before, and I can't think of the example I wanted to make, but I have faces in my head. That's all that matters. Anyway, that was the last of the comments. Are we? What's the word here?
What do you mean? What's the word? That's it. That's
it.
We did Eliminator. Who's MVP?
Oh, who was MVP? I actually think David got it. I don't know why, but I think David got it.
What is going on? And
it didn't make any sense.
And he's on your tribe. It wasn't Will. Yeah. I thought Will got some votes too. Steel Punch tossed out a Will vote before we even started the podcast.
I think it ended up being really close. I mean, I'm going to give it to Will. You have Will. You're way behind anyway. And I think Will, he didn't deserve it. Who did we say deserved it? We said he probably should have been Jay. And he wins LVP because
we can't give it to Jay. He can't be LVP and
people
MVP.
Just can't get over it.
It's so fun. It's so funny, dude. The more I talk about Jay, the more LVP votes he gets, and that hurts your team. It's so funny.
I mean, my team can't be damaged though. You
They're
can
just
keep like taking
enabling
like
me.
little nicks at it, but you're not going to do any damage.
Who do I have left on my team? I have no chance at winning the winner.
No, you have no chance. You have Adam, Brett, and Will.
Adam's like my 1% chance at pulling off the win. But all right. I mean, I guess this season continues. That whole boot with Michaela is still like the deciding point in this season, and it's gonna be fun to see how this thing shakes out. I don't know. We'll have to find out. We'll try to figure something out Wednesday or maybe Thursday. I might wake up early, or something. Actually, no, because I'm 3 hours ahead of you, Phil, when I'm in North Carolina. So I can't wake up early because then you'd have to wake up super early.
Well, I mean,
so
I can wake up super early as long as it's before the Lions game.
Okay, yeah, and I think I actually might be staying at a hotel where there is internet. So, and I'll have like my own space and not be, because oftentimes we go to Thanksgiving, I share like a room with like 5 of my cousins, and it's like there's just no chance that I can podcast. So,
I mean, if we can do it 8 a.m. my time on Thursday morning, if you can't do it Wednesday night, I can do that.
See, that's 11 a.m. for me, and that's like we're already full swing. That's Thanksgiving full swing.
Well, I could do earlier than that too. I'm just throwing out numbers, dude.
Yeah,
just as long as it's before 9:30.
If you could wake up at like 5 a.m., that'd be cool. Yeah,
I'm glad nobody could see my face on that.
Yeah, it's 8 a.m. for me, which is still pretty early. You got to give me some credit, and then 5 a.m. for you, or maybe you just stay up.
I just won't go to sleep. Yeah.
Maybe we do it at like 3 a.m. your time, and it's like 6 a.m. my time. I wake up super early, and you just stay up.
And Wednesday's like a good going out night, right? So like maybe I'll just go out, and I'll be like having my hangover come on as I'm doing the podcast.
Yeah, we can have drunk Phil, and we can see if there's, if Phil really should get drunk when he goes out on Survivor.
I'm telling you that the answer is no. A resounding no.
Well, maybe we'll find out. Okay, either way, we'll figure it out. I don't think Alexa is in the mix, unfortunately. I know many people will be bummed to hear that, but we will do what we can. If you haven't checked out our recap, definitely check that out, the episode 9 recap. The link is in the description. Please subscribe if you haven't. Just helps us out. Like the video, always. That helps us out too. And Phil, you got anything else?
No, we'll see you Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll see you one day.
Yep.